Hi everyone, my name is Laurie of AFTV and it is my absolute honour and pleasure to be able to welcome you along today to episode 149 of the Talk is Cheap show. Joining me to my left on the show today, my good friend, my co-host, show analyst, former professional footballer, social media influencer and icon, none other than Mr. Curtis Shaw from Curtis Shaw TV in the house. What are you saying, brother?
Another one got clipped up yesterday, you know what I mean?
How you doing, bro?
Yeah, I'm good, man. A good weekend.
Good weekend?
Yeah, great weekend.
Catch up with the boxing? I know you're a big boxing
Yeah, I caught
fan.
the boxing as well. Yeah, Eubank, he was doing the Patrick Truman one in the corner, you know. You know what I mean? Just take the count. And do you know what made me laugh? He was like,
I guess he should have showed up at 50%.
Yeah, that 50%. He had a golf ball below his eye. I was like, raw, but...
Got smoked.
Yeah, he got that smoke. Here's what
That's how it goes in boxing, bro. It's a rough sport. But anyway, I just want to say we got a special feature out there, people. If you want to get involved in the show today, please download the app, the AFTV Plus app, and you can call us and respond or offer your comments on some of the things we're going to talk about today. So that's a new feature of AFTV that I'm looking at getting involved in. Please do get in there, download the app, and bombs away. Right, let's crack on then, shall we? Those of you who watch the show regularly will know that one of our regular items is what we call our news and notes, which is where we look at any items that are topical or relatable in the world of football going on. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because just before we got ready to do the show, breaking news starts coming over the airwaves. Frank Lampard, no longer Everton manager, dismissed. Curtis Shaw, your thoughts?
Hardly a surprise, is it? Do you know what I mean? I think the interesting thing from an Arsenal point of view is like we play Everton next in the league.
We do.
I would have actually liked Lampard to have still been there because they don't look like they've got anything to offer at the moment where you think new manager bounce, blah, blah, blah. You know, is that going to make a big difference? But I think they announced this morning, they said that he was at the training ground. They felt he was going to be dismissed. I'm not surprised. Everton, a big club, man, in the bottom three. They're going to have to make a change. Let's hope they're still not too well organised when we play them in 2 weeks, you know. Lamps.
So you think it was deserved, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, listen, I don't like seeing managers get sacked, but listen, Everton can't be. They've got a new stadium being built. It could be in the Championship. So
I mean, he barely kept them up by the skin of their teeth last season.
Yeah.
And you would have expected them to have been an improvement this season, but I've not really seen it. And so you're quite right in saying that it was inevitable that it was going to happen. Any thoughts on who the new manager might be?
Listen, it's emergency, isn't it? You know, when you press that emergency button in the Premier League, that means it's Sean Dyche or it's Sam Allardyce. I think Sean Dyche is the favourite from.
I must admit, he does look like a good fit for that club.
Yeah, I think he says in a lot of interviews he gets like a hard time because Burnley and they were kind of known for just long ball football. You know what I mean? But he actually did a good job at Burnley. Really, he got them in Europe, and they're nowhere near that good, really, in my opinion. So. Yeah, they ain't got time for no glamorous, entertaining football. They need to just.
It's a kind of backhanded compliment.
It is
to Sean Dyche, isn't it?
It's a bit
come and
harsh.
rescue us, but
they say Sean Dyche eats bricks and concrete and that. So
I think he's a good manager.
He's a decent manager.
It's
not a glamorous appointment, is it? You know, but
it's not El Dyche.
No, it's not Seanino, El Dychinio. You know. Big Sean Dyche, but they're in trouble. So I'm not surprised that Lamps has gone.
Yeah. Well, we'll watch his space, but in case you haven't heard already, Frank Lampard has been dismissed from his duties at Everton. Right, moving on again then. News and notes. Since our last show, there's been 2 new signings to report. The first one we heard about was Leandro Trossard from Brighton. Kind of came out of left field a little bit, although we were linked with him. But I think once the Mudryk deal broke down. You know what I mean? The fans were anxious to see who was coming in, what the plan B was. I'm going to say here now, I've been a fan of Trossard. When I say a fan, I've been an admirer of Trossard. I think he's a very good player, and I'm quite happy at him coming to Arsenal. I'm not going to say that I was like jumping up and down with excitement, but I think it is a good sign.
Yeah,
You, Curtis?
I think for me, like obviously we were saying last week we was disappointed with not getting Mudryk, and he did look decent when he came on for Chelsea.
I was going to say I was even more disappointed after I saw him on Saturday.
Yeah, he looked good, but I can't lie, James Milner. I mean, you're younger than James Milner, you know what I mean? So it wasn't that big an achievement. But you know what? I do give Arsenal some credit because one thing I've not liked with Arsenal over the years, they don't respond to a situation when something goes wrong. And I think, you know, they say that deal was wrapped up within 24 hours of making the first move.
Right.
And, you know, we're going to talk about the Tottenham game. I know he only came on for the last 8 minutes, but...
United.
The United game. Sorry, we beat that many teams this week. I can't even remember. Yeah,
You're still dining out on that Tottenham win.
I'm still living off that. Yeah, United. But that last 8 minutes, man, I mean, we were calling him Bossard in the watch-along. You know what I mean? Man's dribbling past all sorts. So, no, I think it's a good signing, man. For 20 million, it's a no-brainer.
It was a good signing. And listen, he's Premier League battle-tested already. He's done well in the league. So we know what he brings. And I'm sure he'll enhance the team. So, yeah, I was happy with the signing. Like I said, it wasn't a Mudryk or João Felix type signing where it's going to excite you because you get that sort of unknown quantity. But nevertheless, I'm happy with the signing, and it sounds like you are too.
Yeah,
so
man,
that's
Bossard,
good.
man. That's the nickname
Bossard,
from now on, man.
I do like that. I do like that, Bossard. You got a thing with words, you know. Bro.
Yeah, not bad. Bit creative, you know what I mean?
You are. Jakob Kivior. I hope I haven't butchered that name, by the way. For
always rated this guy, by the way.
Oh yeah,
been watching him for years.
I mean, Arteta, he's been watching this guy.
Yeah,
he had it all planned out.
Planned out.
Yeah, so he's a left-sided centre back. I think it's fair to say. We signed him from Serie A side, Spezia. Again, I hope I haven't butchered that name. Don't tell me you watch all Spezia's games and you know exactly what to expect.
Not at all. Not at all. Listen, in terms of left-footed centre-backs, I hope he's more Gabriel than Pablo Mari, is what I would say. Do you know what I mean? They say he's a good ball-playing centre-back. Dortmund, West Ham had offers turned down for him.
He's a Polish international.
He played all their games in the World Cup.
Yeah.
Apparently, Paolo Maldini, who obviously one of the best defenders we've ever seen, he is like sporting director at AC Milan. He'd had a meeting with his agent about trying to get him to AC Milan. So he's highly rated in Italy, and you know the Italian league is known for producing good defenders. So again, 20 million euros. He's young. It gives us an opportunity to rotate Gabriel.
And if he's a regular for the Polish side, let's face it, Poland are a decent international team.
Yeah, they're decent.
So he's going to be of a decent standard, I would have thought. So I don't think he'll go straight into the team because, you know, as you said, he's more likely to be backup for Gabriel. But there's lots of games coming up as we're going to explore later in the show, so there'll be lots of opportunities for him to play. Let's see how he goes. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he gets on. Right, okay then, so that's our news and notes for this week, guys. As I said before, if you want to get involved in the discussions that we're going to have later on the show, please download the app and get involved. We can't wait to hear from you. Right then, moving on. Another regular feature of the Talk is Cheap show is where we look at Arsenal's last game since the last show. So that took place on Sunday, and they don't get much bigger than this. Big club versus big club, North versus South, the two forms in the Premier League, first versus fourth, Arsenal versus Man United. As I said, it don't get much bigger than that. Kind of brings back memories of the old days, doesn't it? That rivalry that started back in the late 1990s with Arsene Wenger and Ferguson that extended through to the noughties, that saw some real high intensity, proper football, man. And as I was saying on the show last week, for me, United, especially with the form that they were coming into this game, to me, they represented a bigger test for Arsenal than Spurs the week before, that we summarily dismissed. I know some people didn't quite see it that way. They were looking at the Tottenham game as, you know, being away from home and all the challenges that brings. But for me, I looked at this game and I thought that this is a very significant game. So the question was, could Arsenal overcome another stern test, 2 in 2 weeks? Could we get revenge over United? Because don't forget they'd beaten us earlier in the season. And could we cope with the pressure? I mean, just before our game with United, City had beaten up on Wolves 3-0, Haaland hat-trick. And they're applying pressure ever so slightly. Pep's having a little nibbles here and there. So the pressure's on, man. But I have to say, and I'm happy to say, that the answer to all those questions was a resounding yes, and I'm going to give a brief synopsis of the game. They're going to ask my man Curtis here to comment. So we won the game 3-2. The goals quickly, 17 minutes. United went in front actually, courtesy from a long range shot from Rashford. Great goal, got to say. 7 minutes later, we equalised. Lovely headed goal by Eddie Nketiah. That was great to see. 53 minutes, we go ahead. Bukayo Saka, what can I say about this man? I'm sure Kurt's going to talk about him later. What a strike. Cuts inside, beats a couple of defenders. Metronomic accuracy into the corner of the net there. 59 minutes, 2-2. Leandro Martinez. Now, I'm going to say I thought that was an error by the keeper there. I thought Ramsdale, if you're going to come for that, you're going to have to either catch it or punch it. To me, it should have been the latter. He should have put his fist through that, the way Liam Smith put his fist through Eubank. That should have been out there, definitely cleared, but it didn't happen. It fell invitingly for Martinez and he snapped it up, so that was 2-2.
Yeah.
But then on 90 minutes, the much maligned by Curtis Shaw, Eddie Nketiah, pops up with a classic goal poacher's goal, which is what I've always said that Eddie is. And when I've used the word goal poacher, some people have treated that as a bit of a backhanded compliment. It's a full compliment, man, because teams need goal poachers like that. Yeah. That is a skill in itself in my book. And so he pops up. Great scenes, man. I mean, the atmosphere at the Emirates was absolutely buzzing. It was jumping in there. And amazing scenes. We win the games 3-2. Some brief match receipts before I asked Curtis here to comment. Shots on goal. You may be surprised to learn that Arsenal were way in the ascendancy over Man United, 25-6, although shots on target is a lot closer. Arsenal 5-4. Possession, we enjoyed the great possession. 58% to Man United's 42%. Completed passes, once again, Arsenal in the ascendancy, 520 to United's 396. And pass accuracy, we led that as well, 81% to 77%. Now, Curtis, give us your initial thoughts on the game. I've got some other questions I want to ask you later, but your initial thoughts on the game.
Do you know what? I think first of all, and I was saying this, I think United provided us with our hardest 2 games of the season so far. I don't want to compliment them too much, but I got to be honest, that was a hard victory. Do you know what I mean? There was times in that game I thought they were going to beat us. That Rashford goal, that's probably the best goal I've seen against us this season. Do you know what I mean?
And I've got to say, I just want to interrupt you briefly. This man here, I must admit, you never lost faith with Rashford. Anyway.
No, I rate Rashford. I've always felt like he needed a proper coach.
I can remember when you was advocating for him to come to Arsenal. Man, we're jumping down your neck, including Robbie.
Yeah.
I remember being privy to those conversations, and you were saying, "No, I'll take Rashford all day long."
He's a good player, man. Good player. But listen, in the end, I think we're starting to show that kind of title-winning spirit. Whether that plays itself out and we do win the league, but we seem like a team that don't give up. I thought in the first half we weren't even at our best, to be honest.
A lot of people.
I think the Eddie goal was vital. I felt like if we went in 1-0 down. Well, which one? Yeah, both of them. I have to say the ball from Xhaka to Nketiah for that.
Another player that you've fallen in love with.
Here he goes. But listen, it's great to see these people turning it around. Let's be honest, because a lot of these players we didn't think had long-term futures, but I just thought in the second half we took control of the game. We feel relentless when we're playing. I feel like if you was playing against Arsenal, they never stopped. It reminds me of Liverpool's front three from a few years ago. Maybe not in terms of the levels they're at yet, but that just non-stop. They're going to hunt you down until the goal turns up. It's like they weren't willing to leave without the 3 points. And I thought for me, the 3 standouts for me, I thought Zinchenko.
Oh man, I was going to ask you about it later.
The leadership qualities of him, the passion, he's so good on the ball, his footballing IQ, he's just on another level. I thought Eddie as well for the 2 goals.
Just on Zinchenko, a little anecdote I came across today. I came across it and I thought I'd mention it on the show today. You may even have heard about this already, we'll see. But I came across an anecdote from Zinchenko where he's given an interview and he said that when he first joined Arsenal, and he came into the squad and he was chatting to some of the guys, he was saying, "Listen, man, I've seen you guys from afar. We have the quality now to go on and win the league." And he actually said that when he said that, some of the players laughed in his face. So that shows, and listen, he's won titles with City and, he's played at top level for both club and country. And he identified Arsenal right away as a title potential title-winning team, and look, it's played itself out.
Well, it's that mentality, isn't it? Him
Exactly.
and Jesus, they've won titles, and he's probably thinking as a club we're selling ourselves short by saying let's get fourth.
Yeah.
He's saying, listen, you can trouble this Man City team, but you got to have that belief. And I thought Saka, I just wanted to say, Saka for me. I mean, I said this earlier on stream, I think that's one of his best ever performances for Arsenal. I mean, my thoughts go out to Luke Shaw because I don't know how that guy is
international, by the way.
I mean, this is a guy that was in the Euros team of the tournament,
Yeah.
and what he was doing to him, I mean, he could have got arrested on the way out of that crowd. That was violence. That goal, I mean, Saka's goal was because Rashford done the celebration, and I'm like, no, this man's standing in front of the North Bank doing this, and then Saka does that. I'm like, you are a joke. All I'm saying, if he wants 150, 180, 200, give him the money. You're looking at a superstar there.
Yeah. I must admit, I'm running out of superlatives for this guy, and you think that he's so young as well. The way he carries himself with so much maturity and integrity, and he's humble as well. Listen, man, he's got everything.
Yeah, he's unreal. He reminded me of it's like Iron Robin a little bit.
Yeah.
He used to play on that side, cut in on the left foot. He's so strong as well. I think.
Listen, if he came from Brazil and it was called Bukayo Sakino,
200 million.
he would be up there with Mbappe and man like that.
Yeah, he's that good. They've got to tie him to that deal though, because on the flip side, 18 months on the deal. If you're Pep or if you're the Barcelona or Real Madrid manager, people will be having a look at him.
Well, that's the worry, isn't it? You know, I mean, that's the worry. It's a double-edged sword because, listen, we want him to be successful, but as soon as you start hitting those heights, you know that the bigger clubs are going to be coming for him, you know what I mean? And even if he wants to stay at Arsenal, the temptations are going to be there in terms of money, status, what he can win with other clubs. So you're right, man. They need to lock him down as soon as they can.
Yeah, quick, man, bro.
But yeah, sorry, to go back to the game.
No, just the all-round performance. Listen, why I was talking about the Man United thing is because I think it's easy sometimes to dismiss the opposition, and I think they performed at a level that I think they would have beaten most teams playing the way they played, which I think is such a big compliment to the Arsenal players because that wasn't an easy team to just dismiss, and I just thought. It feels like we can beat anyone in the league at the moment. You know, I can't wait for that Man City.
You make an interesting point there about Man United and the levels that they were attaining and the kind of game it was. I'm watching that game yesterday, and honestly, it kind of brought me back. I mentioned it earlier about the late 1990s and the rivalry between Ferguson and Wenger and United and Arsenal of old. That kind of North versus South. That's what yesterday was reminiscent of.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think for me, I've always said it. Number one, that's my favourite Premier League game. I think it's the biggest.
Yeah.
You know, I know obviously Liverpool, other clubs will be going, nah, this, that, the other. But historically in the Premier League, you know, that United and Arsenal rivalry, like you said, Wenger and Ferguson and Henry, Van Nistelrooy, it's just, and it feels like it hasn't been there for the last few years.
Now, you said Henry and Van Nistelrooy. Is it now Saka and Rashford?
Yeah, it could be. It could be. Do you know what I said on my stream? I said 2 months ago, Man United had one of the goats up front, Cristiano Ronaldo. Yesterday they had a horse up front. Red horse. But it's, they clearly need a striker. You know, they definitely need a striker, and they miss Casemiro as well.
Yeah.
I think we was all happy in the week when he clattered Zaha and got that yellow.
That didn't help them.
It didn't help. Listen, one thing I would say, and like it might come across a bit patronising, but I think for Man United, they got to look at that. They're 6 months into their new manager, and they've clearly improved a lot. I thought last season that was one of the worst Man United teams I'd ever seen, and they're, you know, they've moved forward a lot under him. So yeah, I think that was our toughest game of the season, and the away game as well.
Well, I was saying that before the game.
Yeah.
So I said that, listen, for me, the United game at home, even though it's at home, it represents for Arsenal a sterner test than Tottenham. Not to say that Tottenham weren't a stern, well, in the end they weren't that stern, but you know what I'm saying, on paper.
Yeah.
Because I just looked at the United team, like you said, they've improved 100% since Ten Hag took over. You got a guy like Rashford in amazing form, and they come to the Emirates with a lot of confidence, and it's that big game feeling, that North versus South. You know, United versus Arsenal, Arsenal versus United, and yeah, man, amazing. I just want to read out a super chat before we go on, and it's from Sheets of Metal. He's a regular contributor. enough respect. He's saying Pep is playing mind games. Arteta better be on it. Well, we know this, and we are on it.
Well, that's the thing. Winning the title it's like more than what's happening on the football pitch. Because I almost feel like Pep's interviews, it's like he's saying, I'm not bothered about the Prem. You lot are too good. He's saying things, Arsenal will get 100 points, we can't catch them. So he's trying to reel us back in a little bit. I think we just need to, stay focused on what we do.
Well, he's sending out mixed messages, isn't he? Because one minute he's saying he's not interested in the Premier League. And then last week you saw him berating his own fans and players.
Yeah. I get what he was saying though. I thought he had a point.
Oh yeah, he did,
about his own club, because Pep's a very passionate man. He's thinking, I've just won you 4 titles out of 5, and you're booing me at half time.
Hey, listen, man. I know we're digressing slightly, but I remember I called you after the game, and I was thinking those City fans, man. I mean, listen, man. It's my view, but I thought that was mad disrespectful, bro. You're booing the team after a half of football, a half. In fact, I might add, where they were the better team against Spurs. It's just that they made a couple of mistakes at the end, and they were going in 2-0 down. But I always felt that they were going to come back, and so they did. 4 goals in the second half. But it was interesting that after the game, to me, that little rant or meltdown, whatever you want to call it, that was not by accident, bro. And a lot of that was aimed towards getting the fans in the club to recognise that Arsenal is a big challenge for them this season. So he wants, full guns blazing.
A lot of it's going to come down to them 2 league games and the FA Cup game.
And we're going to talk about that. I just wanted to mention a couple other points. You mentioned Zinchenko. Would you say man of the match, or Eddie, or Saka? I mean, there's so many candidates.
What? The funny thing was, I felt like Zinchenko and Saka were the best 2 players on the pitch for us in terms of the way they performed over the 90 minutes. I gave Eddie man of the match in my player ratings because I just felt a question that I said a lot of the times about him was, he scores goals, but can he do it against the better teams? And to score the equaliser and to score the winner, I just felt like he deserved it. But I thought Saka was unbelievable, and Zinchenko. Any one of those 3 could have got it. Anyone. I think Arsenal website gave it to Zinchenko.
Yeah, you're right. You could have gone with any one of those 3. Me personally, I would have gone with Eddie for the reasons you stated, and for the fact that, let's face it, he's been much maligned, isn't he? Yeah. Over previous months. I mean.
Yeah, I don't hide from him. I've more than questioned him. I gave him the green screen today, man. That's the biggest honour I can give him.
And I think back to last year when Eddie gave that interview, was it?
Yeah.
And he said, look, I need starts. If I get the starts, I can get the goals. And enough fans were coming for him. I was like, bro, I like that. The fact that he's
talking with chest.
That he's embracing the challenge.
I'll tell you another thing. In the summer, he refused to play for Ghana at the World Cup. And a lot of us were like, yo, this brother should have took that opportunity. Southgate was at the game yesterday. I think he'll be in the England squad soon.
You know what? That is a really good point. Because I was one of those that was saying, come on, Eddie, man. You know what I mean? If Ghana come calling for you, just man, take it, man. Because, you know what I mean? That's a World Cup opportunity that you might not get again. But you know what? Now that you've said that,
not many England strikers playing well. Probably Kane and Ivan Toney. That's about it.
Yeah, and if you add to that, his record at under 21 level for England is exemplary.
He's the record holder.
Yeah.
I think.
So listen, man, Eddie is proving that he is that guy, and he's been given the opportunity and he's taken it. And I think he's got 4 Premier League goals now. Me and you had said on the show a few weeks ago, we kind of set him a target of 10.
He should get that.
And he's way on course for getting that. Yeah. 19 games to go. Come on.
Yeah, should definitely.
Even with Jesus, coming back ultimately, he should still get that. So listen.
The thing is, Jesus might not get back in the team.
Whoa!
You're going to have to work hard to get him out.
Amazing to think, but that could be true.
Yeah.
Because listen, if the guy's scoring goals and playing well and
can't drop him,
getting last-minute winners like he did on Sunday. Come on now, you can't just drop him out of the team like that.
Your defence is in trouble. Yo, come on, man. Defences are in trouble right now, They
are, man.
Eddie's got that credit on the phone now. The phone call celebrations all over the place.
But let me ask you, bro, how significant was this win? I mean, for Arsenal, that was their 19th game, let's say, which means we're exactly halfway through the season. And we say it on this show every week. Every time this team gets a stern test put in front of them, it seems that they're able to overcome it, and overcome it in some style. Now, we weren't always at our best yesterday, but what impressed me was that in a hard-fought game, we came through and we won it deservedly. So
Yeah.
my question to you, my friend, is we're halfway there. Is it now time to really start believing?
Yeah, well, I think because I think to win a league, it starts from the bottom to the top. Like I think the fans, the players, everybody's got to believe that it's possible, and those players should believe it's possible. But also on the flip side, you do have to keep your feet on the ground because we haven't played Manchester City yet, and let's be honest, that's the biggest test. Do you know what I mean? We got to play
ultimate test.
That's the ultimate test. We got to play them home and away, and even beating them home and away doesn't guarantee you. You know, they've overturned 10, 11 point leads before, but it just feels like there's an opportunity here this season that like we didn't expect to be there. You look at Chelsea and Liverpool, I mean, that game was a snore fest. How bad was that game of football? You know, teams have been poor this year, and we've got...
I'm going to be honest with you, it was really poor, like you said, but the one positive light of it is actually when Mudryk came on.
Yeah. He was,
I mean, that was why I stayed in, because I was on my way to the gym and I thought, you know what, let me stay in and watch this game, because I felt sure that Mudryk was going to get an opportunity at some point, and I wanted to see
how good he looked.
And I must admit, bro, I know it was only a few minutes, so we can't get all carried away. But from what I saw, you think to yourself, him in an Arsenal shirt would have been a real team.
Yeah, because let's be honest, I think he would have been better playing for us because we got a style of football. We play on the front foot. So listen, there's no doubt he looks a player. But at the same time, you know, I remember Pepe at Anfield going past Van Dijk, and we was going, oh my God, this guy's going to be a superstar. Didn't work out. Like I said, I'd fancy running at James Milner. I'd think I might be able to get past him once or twice. But no, he looks a good player. He looks a good player. But I think deep down,
interesting
he wanted
because
to play for us, didn't he?
after the game, I had a few Chelsea fans who are mates of mine. They were texting me and said, "Laurie, Arsenal should have stumped up the extra 10 million." I was like, right. It does make you think, but yeah.
I think it's more than that, innit? When you look at that deal now, I mean, they gave him an 8.5-year contract. You know, I think the deal was a little bit more complicated. You know, I would have liked Arsenal to have signed him, but we've gone another route. And
we won't go there. We've got Trossard now.
Bossard, man. Don't worry about it.
Trossard is bossing it.
He's bossing it.
But yeah, so you think
How
that
significant?
it's... Yeah, we're not going to get carried away yet.
No.
I mean, you saw the way Zinchenko was celebrating with the fans.
He was almost crying, wasn't he? I couldn't believe it.
No, but you know what? That kind of spoke volumes to me, because what I'm seeing, and I'm seeing it every week when Arsenal win, especially when we get wins against big, so-called big teams, is that you look at the players and the manager, the way them guys are celebrating. That is not an ordinary celebration.
No, it's not.
That is a celebration born of belief.
Yeah.
That is like, look, see, we done it again. They said we couldn't do it. Look, here we are. We're top of the table. And there's this old saying, I'm pretty sure you've heard of it. I'm pretty sure you guys out there have heard of it as well. It's called, possession is 9/10 of the law.
Yeah.
Simply translated, that means, you know, if you're in custody of it, it's very hard for someone to take it off you.
Yeah.
And what I'm seeing now is a team that's with that mindset.
Listen, I think, we're halfway through the season. There's still a long, long way to go. But we've played everyone now apart from Man City. And look, we've only lost one game out of them 19. And even that game we probably shouldn't have lost. So, yeah, for me, the belief, they need to have that belief that they can win it now. But they've got to, for me as well, I think the club need to make another signing before the window closes. I would still like another midfielder to come through the door. Just to give us that squad depth. To carry us through, because it gets trickier when you've got Europa League Thursday and then you've got a big game on the weekend. So yeah, I think, but we've got a chance. We've
definitely got a chance, man. And like I said, you look at those celebrations yesterday. You look at the way the crowd is, the vibe. I'm getting that whole vibe around the club. Even fans from other clubs are calling me and texting me and saying, "Nah, man, you guys have won it," and I'm not even capping. That's what one of my brethren called me and said, "Listen, man, you lot won the title." Because
it's too early to say that.
No, but we can actually lose one of those games to City and still statistically go on and win.
But that's if you win every game.
Well,
I think. Listen, I believe we can win it, but I think it's too early to say like we've won it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I'm just saying that right now the belief is high.
Yeah, the belief is.
We're halfway there, and the belief is so strong that I think it's going to take an almighty effort from City, even City, to overcome what we're seeing at the moment. But let's see if we got any calls on the fan zone. as I said, get involved with the AFTV fan zone by downloading the AFTV app, and the link is in the description there. So we're waiting, man. Also, we've got a super chat here from Ali EM. He says, "Big up, boys. Teta," I'm sure he's talking about Mikel Arteta, "has turned round some mini man. If you put a 3-legged donkey on 200 grand in the team, I'd believe it." Thoughts on Salty Klopp? Also, do we go 100 in the FA Cup versus City? I back us to beat him at the Emirates. So there's a few things in there. Let me ask you about the comments by Klopp, because that was a bit interesting.
Yeah, I didn't rate that.
No, that was a little bit.
I didn't rate that at all, man. Like, I felt like he did that to make himself look better, you know. Liverpool a bit out of form, and then obviously De Gea said something, didn't he, about Wenger as well? Or he said like the Arsenal manager. He didn't even say his name. So. Yeah. But
you know what that shows me, Curtis? That these men are rattled, bro.
Yeah, standard. I keep saying this.
Rattled,
people don't like Arsenal, but we don't need them to like us.
And let's face it as well, these men coming out with these comments, it's because they feel threatened. Because, you know.
You never heard Klopp talk about Arsenal when we was 8th, but now we're top. Wenger and his fouls. Yo, don't worry about Wenger.
And there's a little bit of history between him and Arteta as well. Yeah, pushing.
They've had a few little arguments to that, haven't they? But
I think Ali's right. He's getting a bit salty.
The FA Cup, would you go?
We're going to talk about that one a bit later, but just briefly. Do you back us at the Emirates?
Listen, they're beatable. It'll be interesting how strong we do go for it. I think he'll change a couple of players.
Well, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later, man.
Yeah. Well, right, we got our first caller of the day, Michael from Boston.
Hi.
Michael.
Hey guys, how you doing?
I'm great, man.
What's happening, man?
Can you hear me? Is all good?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, Laurie, Curtis, love this feature that we can actually talk to each other.
Yeah, man. I must admit, you sound like Jesse Marsh. I'm not doubting your Arsenal fan status. I'm just saying you sound like Jesse Marsh. Go ahead.
No, like I am so much more real as an Arsenal fan walking around the streets of Boston because people see my scarf and they're all going, "Yeah, Gooners." And I always test them by going, "Did you think that Zinchenko was man of the match on Sunday?" And they're going, "What?" And I'm going, "Poser." You know, there is a kind of community, and this is what I love about like the fan zone. Like, I know like Steven and Alexander from Pittsburgh, or Aston Mack from Orlando, or Javi from LA. Like, there's a community. I was just talking to this guy Solomon from Nairobi, who's waiting to talk to you, and it's like, technology is now making the Arsenal community a real global brother and sisterhood, is what I'm saying.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
And I just want to say this about connection, that as much as I'm just over the moon about Zinchenko and Saka and Eddie, we should understand that their flowering as players is not in a vacuum, that Eddie is getting goals as a poacher because the people around him are creating chaos in the penalty area that allows him to score. That if he was playing for Leicester, he wouldn't be getting those chances, right? Yeah. Like, Zinchenko is a false 8 that's moving into the midfield only because we have confidence that Gabriel and Saliba are going to take care of business in case we lose possession. So it's okay to allow one of our back 4 to move up into the midfield.
Picking up on that point you made about Zinchenko, that is a great point, because there's a lots of people that are saying, like, what is Zinchenko's best position? What is his position? Because he seems to be playing in a very fluid, flexible role. And he gets forward so much that it's almost becoming more difficult to time down to a position. Curtis, what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, no, he's like that. I think that's the reason we signed him, innit? Because Tierney was probably rated one of the best left backs in the league. So when we replaced him, it's a bit like, well, but the role that Zinchenko plays, and like you said there, he steps into the midfield, gives us that extra man, and then Gabriel and Saliba are like, listen, you can go, we'll cover it. And I think that's why we're dominating the midfield in so many games, because we've got that extra player in there now.
And you can also see that the players respect each other, that they're trying to enable each other. It's not like Cristiano Ronaldo standing around at the top of the penalty area demanding service, right? I mean, that they're playing to each other's strengths. Odegaard is getting the assists he's getting because he understands what Saka and Martinelli are doing, and that's a beautiful thing to watch.
Absolutely, yeah, I absolutely concur. Just want to ask you a question, like, so over here, there's a vibe, there's a feeling that, you know what I mean, it's almost inevitable now. It's week on week, that's what I'm seeing. Just going to ask, over there amongst the guys you vibe with, are you getting that same kind of feeling that this could be Arsenal's year?
Of course it is. Just look at the table. But I really don't care about the question, are we going to win the title? Right. I'm not in this because I'm betting on Arsenal and I'm going to win money, okay? I mean, I feel like, yeah, we can win the title. It's possible that we'll get injuries and drop some points, and that Man City won't lose another game, and that we won't win the title. But that doesn't change what we're doing as far as the belief and the connection with the team. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I feel like the Arsenal renaissance comes in part from what AFTV is doing to build a participatory fan culture, about saying that we're not just passive consumers who spend our money on shirts and sit around and complain that the Cronkies aren't buying us superstars. We're building our own stars from within the academy. Arteta's creating a culture. I think the documentary had a lot to do with this, because it helped us as fans, like, understand that Xhaka is a human being and that we shouldn't hate him, that he should just be put in his natural position as a box-to-box midfielder, rather than leave him to like, you know, get red cards and give up penalties in our own penalty area. And like, once we understand that, we're not sitting around like entitled brats complaining that the Cronkies aren't buying us a championship. It's more about understanding that we're all in this together. Like Aston McLemore Orlando talked about this yesterday, saying we shouldn't sit around and say we want a title. We should understand that it's our responsibility to be part of the process. That's all.
I must admit, I do like that. What I would call that holistic approach. But listen, thank you very much for your contribution, bro. We've got a few other people on the line.
Thanks for coming on, bro. Take care.
We appreciate that, bro. Yeah, thank you. Okay, we're going to bring in Solomon. Solomon, state your name and where you're from.
Can't hear him.
I can't hear. Solomon.
Hello.
Hello. Now. Yeah, I can
Is that
hear
Solomon?
Can you? Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. So where are you from, Solomon?
I'm calling from Nigeria.
Oh, right. Wow.
Bro.
Excellent. Yeah. Whereabouts in Nigeria, bro?
Lagos, Nigeria, precisely.
Okay. Nice one. Right. Okay, bro. Tell us what's on your mind.
Quickly, I don't know how to start, but let me just rush this out and from my heart the way it's coming out, because right now I'm excited, I'm over the moon, I'm buzzing. I don't even know how to start, but let me just start this way. First of all, I think people need to really calm down. Let us enjoy the moment. I'm getting tired of people always mentioning, saying this is just halfway to the season. We've not really done anything. We have a long way to go. But when are we going to enjoy this as a fan? As in, this is Arsenal. The last time I saw this team win anything was the FA Cup final in 2000. The last FA Cup we had. Yeah, but the Premier League, the Premier League I saw was after the Invincibles, and the last time I can remember, I was really a kid then. I was a little boy that basically I had no chance to even watch them play. I think I started supporting Arsenal because of Kanu, and because he's a Nigerian, and I love him so much, and I got to support the team. So I don't like the fact that our fans probably will always want us to calm down and tell us, okay, we have a long way to go. Yes, we have a long way to go, but let us please enjoy this particular moment. We are on top of the league. We are on top of the league.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but I just want to say that, I hear you, but to me, I think we should embrace the fact that we're top of the table, we're playing well, and we're in the ascendancy, and we're the ones being hunted. I think we should embrace that. regardless of what happens from here on in. Curtis, what's your thoughts?
No, I agree. I know what Solomon's saying, like, because as Arsenal fans, we've had some tough times. Let's be honest, we've had some hard times. So while we are top of the league, while things are going well, we do have to embrace the moment. But I know what you're saying as well. Let's also look at the fact that we can win the league. But I know what Solomon's saying, you know, because if things don't work out and we don't win the league or whatever, we don't want to look back at it and say this was a bad time. It's still a very good moment. We've still overcome some big hurdles, you know.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I hear what you and Solomon are saying. I think what you're saying is you want us to be humble and not to get too carried away. And I do get that. I 100% get that. But I'm also saying to you and Curtis, from my perspective, I want us to embrace what we're doing now, to believe in ourselves and enjoy the ride. But listen, Solomon, man, thank you very much for your call. We've got a few other callers on the line. It's great that you've connected with us today. Big up to all you Arsenal fans out there in Nigeria. Enough respect. I know Robbie went out there and he's...
Thank you very much. But before I...
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Excuse me, I wanted to say something. Curtis.
Yo.
Curtis, did you put I saw your show this afternoon. You said you were going to put Eddie on the green screen. Please, I was at work, so I wasn't able to watch the stream. I wasn't able to see the stream live. I hope you please place Eddie on the green screen.
Go back and watch the picture as well. I gave him a legendary picture, man. It was there.
Woo! We are winning this one. And lastly, please, I want to give you the right pronunciation of Bukayo. It is not. Please, you need to call it like he's from my hometown, so you call him properly. I know it's English, but the real pronunciation of his name is Bukayo Saka.
Right. Bukayo Saka.
Bukayo Saka.
Yeah.
Yes, the falling and rising tone. Bukayo Saka. Falling and rising.
Well, what it is, we're mixing a little bit of Niger with a bit of Greenford, because it comes from Greenford, which is not far from where I used to work. Yeah. So, but yeah.
Exactly. And I'm really happy seeing him. I don't care whether he's playing for England. I don't care whether he's playing, but I'm just happy to see him. I'm waiting to see him win the Ballon d'Or. Honestly, this boy is just exceptional.
No,
he's the best footballer I've seen so far.
He's special.
So
and
far.
Big up, bro. Big up.
I think it's fair to say as well, it's also special off the pitch too. I know he's a high achiever. I know it's a straight A student.
I really like him. I love him so much. We love him so much here. He's flying the trade. We respect him so much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
No worries, bro. Shout out to all the Arsenal Niger fans. Respect you. Jinx Skinner, but before I do that, I've got a couple of super chats I just want to read out quickly. Sheets and Metal says he's relating back to the time Cess threw pizza at Sir Alex Ferguson, so I think he's invoking the memory of the rivalry back in the late 90s and the noughties. King Gunner, he says, big up to you both. Just wanted to shout out Curtis. I was watching him yesterday on the watch along, laughed so much. Definitely a subscriber, Red Army.
Hey, big up to you.
Enough respect to you for that. We got another caller on the line, I believe. Jinx? Hey, what's going on, bro?
Hey.
Say your name and where you're from.
Yo, what's happening, bro?
What's up, man? My name is Jinx Gunner from Toronto.
Oh, wow, yeah, Toronto. I've got family out there, man. Big up the Toronto massive,
man. Come out. I'm waiting for an AFTV.
Yeah, man. I was out there a few years back, went to Caravana and all that. Yeah, man. Love Toronto. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a lovely city. Right, tell me, my man, what's on your mind?
I don't know. Like, I'm just buzzing still.
You've got that we've just beaten Man United smile on your face, man. You can't stop.
So let me ask you the question then. This is the title of this show. We're halfway through the season statistically. 19 games. We're top of the table. We've got a game in hand over City. Can we go on and win it?
I don't want to say it, but I think we will. I have a feeling that we will. Like, the system that Arteta has put us in is it's amazing, and just the revelation that Zinchenko and Jesus have brought to us has been, it's literally a game changer. They've made us a whole new different team. Like the way Zinchenko links up with the midfield, and as well how he like still is able to have to defend in such a way. Because I think yesterday he won all his aerial duels, I believe, and also his one-on-one defending has been amazing as well the past few games. I think a lot of people don't doubt his defensive abilities.
Yeah,
Don't you think sorry to interrupt you. Don't you think it's crazy that Pep probably sold us Zinchenko and Jesus because he probably thought, Arsenal aren't really a threat to me, you know what I mean? And imagine if we end up winning the league. Yeah, he was looking down thinking, them man are fifth. Yeah, man, you could take 2 of my squad players. And then they might come back and win the league in front of them.
Lo and behold, here we are. And I think the thing that both Zinchenko and Jesus have brought to us, as well as their abilities on the pitch, is the mentality that they've brought. These guys are like proven winners. They've won titles, and you can see that they've come in and helped change the mindset of the team. But listen, man, thank you so much for your call, bro. Big up all the Toronto Massive.
Big up, man. Big up.
Yeah.
And you know, CCCU net.
Hey, big up yourself, bro. Big up. CCCU.
Big up.
Yeah, man. Yes.
Right, okay, before we go to the next call, I just want to read out another super chat here. Another one from Sheets of Metal. He says, I love us Gunners fans from USA. Love, we know our stuff. We are so excited in the USA. Come on, you Gooners. Let's go Virginia Arena. US Americans know all about Arsenal. Come on, you Gooners. USA represent. Yeah, they surely do.
I have to admit, man, that tour pre-season in Orlando, it was unbelievable. Wow. The energy over there was just unreal, and I feel like that's flowed into the season.
Definitely.
From pre-season.
100%, man. Okay, so I believe we got another caller on the line. Matthew, is it?
Yes. What's up?
Right.
Yes.
State your name again and where you're from.
Matthew from Lagos, Nigeria. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yeah, we can hear you, man.
Niger in the house. Wagwan. Oh, he's dropped out.
From Lagos, Nigeria.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, one thing I'd like to say is, first off, we are Arsenal Football Club. And I think it's disrespectful on our history to be scared to say we are title contenders. We have been title contenders since the start of the season. We are title contenders from the start of every single season. Yes, we've had 2 decades of poor form, but we are Arsenal Football Club, and we are always title contenders. We're title contenders when we're 1 point ahead. We're title contenders when we're 2 points ahead. We are favourites for the title, even if it's only goal difference ahead. We are always favourites for the title until we lose games and we are mathematically out. Every season for the past 2 decades, I never stopped believing that we were strong title contenders. Yes, when we're only contending for the top 4 or mathematically, some people try to be conservative, some try to be realistic, but it took a long time coming for us to get to where we are right now. So I'm not scared to say that we are overwhelming favourites to win the title. Always overwhelming favourites.
You know what, bro?
5 games. I'll say it after 35 games, after 1 game, after 5 minutes into the season, we are favourites to win the title. Always. Never scared to say it.
You know what, bro? You're kind of singing from the same hymn sheet that I am. It's about embracing the title, and I think that's what the players are starting to do now as well. The way they're talking now, they're talking openly that they can win it, and I don't think that there's nothing wrong with that. It's called belief, and that's certainly coming through from you. Curtis, you got any?
No, listen, I like what Matthew's saying, man. Like, let's not be afraid of the challenge ahead. You know what I mean? Let's let Man City worry about us a little bit. At the end of the day, we're in control at the moment. It's for, like, until something goes wrong, which it hopefully doesn't. You know, it's in our hands. But the whole club have to embrace that. The players, the fans, everyone has to believe that.
As I said earlier, Matthew, on the show, possession is 9/10 of the law. Once you're in possession, it's down to yourself. So yeah, I absolutely concur with what you're saying, and you're saying quite clearly we should embrace the fact that we're the leaders of the Premier League right now, and we're title contenders for sure.
100%. Do you think we should go full strength in the FA Cup? Because I think our squad is still thin, even though we've had Trossard and Kiwior. I think our squad is still very thin. I don't want us to lose. What happened back when Giggs scored that now when we got out of and we lost in the Premier. I think we should focus on the league. If we lose to City in the FA Cup, I'm fine. I live with that. What does the FA Cup give us? We've won it several times before. Best it does put you in Europa League, which is way below our standard. I don't mind us crashing out of the FA Cup. I'm not saying we should go lose that game, but yeah, give Sandy a chance. Give McQuinnus, give ESR some match fitness, full match fitness. Let's Kiwior have his debut. Let's Tierney play. Let's give Saka a rest, please. Martinelli obviously needed a rest and made Aaron Saka look like Cafu yesterday. I mean,
well, I'll let Curtis answer that one. Curtis, what's your thoughts?
No. Listen, with the FA Cup, it's always nice to win it, but it's definitely not the priority this season. I would like us to beat Man City just to get that psychological edge over Pep. But if we lost, it's not the end of the world. I think the league and the Europa League is much more important.
So you put the league and then the Europa League.
Yeah.
As priorities before the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Listen, I can see that, although I'm old school, Matthew. I love the FA Cup. I grew up in an era where the FA Cup was possibly just as important as winning the league title. I know that may sound a bit silly now, but trust me, back in the day, that's how it was. So I still love the FA Cup. As you alluded to, Matthew, we're the most successful FA Cup side in history. And so I don't want us to go to City this week and just give that away. Yes, I accept the need that we should make changes, rest one or two players. I'm not even sure if Saka will want to rest. I'm sure he'll want to play. But yeah, we're going to need to rest some players. But I do hope that we put in a good effort and we do win the game. Because I think a game like this is not just about the FA Cup. If we could go to City and beat them on their ground, that the message that sends, you know what I mean?
we
So
always beat up though. Last two times we played one game. So nothing new. If we
but
want
listen,
to beat them-
bro, we got to crack on. Thank you so much for your call.
Big up Matthew, man.
Big up the Niger Massive, all the Arsenal fans out there. Enough respect, and thank you so much.
Right,
Cheers.
cheers.
Yeah, man.
Before we got some more callers. I just wanted to say before we bring in the callers, that FA Cup. I was going to ask you about that. We haven't got a good record against City normally. In fact, the last 5 times we played them, we've been beaten by City. It's one of the teams that we do struggle with historically. Having said that, though, the last time we played them in the FA Cup, we did actually beat them.
I knew you'd bring that up. Aubameyang.
I had to, didn't I?
You had to, man.
Yeah, but listen, man. Listen, that day, 20. I remember that day. Me and you were. We were doing a watch along in it. That was scenes, bro.
That was empty stadium.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
that was COVID times, and that brought us enough joy, man.
Do you know what? Last season when we played Man City, I felt like in the home game we should have beat them. Yeah. I felt like we're getting there. I think this year we can beat them.
Yeah, we can beat them,
especially
bro.
in them league games when we're at full strength.
And I know you've said that, we're going to go to our callers in a minute. I know you've said they may have a thoughts on this as well. I know you've said that in your opinion, obviously the league first and then the Europa League, but come on, bro, like an FA Cup win at City, doesn't that send out strong messages?
It definitely does, but I just think you've got to... Listen, I want Arsenal to win the game. I think we should go strong, but I just think 1 or 2 players... you can bring other people in. I think.
Our caller Matthew was suggesting to rest Saka, would you, for that game? Knowing Saka, he's probably going to want to play.
Saka's going to want to.
That's a big game.
The problem is because then we don't play till the following week. Sometimes not playing for 2 weeks is a little bit too long. I reckon Saka will probably play.
Yeah, I reckon.
Because it's hard because on one hand you don't want to go full strength, but if you go 2 week. Man City will batter you, do you know what I mean? Because their squad players, they're bringing in man like Foden and you know what I mean? Their squad.
Although we're hearing that Foden might not play.
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? They've got Kyle Walker on the bench, so you don't want to go and get beat 3 or 4-0, but I would go strong. All right, let's go. Get back to
right, so you've heard what Curtis had to say about that. We've got callers on the line. Piers, is it? Piers?
Yeah, Piers. Go on.
Where from, sorry?
From South Carolina, USA.
USA, right? Right, my man. What you got for us?
Well, so I just want to piggyback off what you were talking about with the FA Cup.
Yeah.
That is, in my opinion, one of the most prestigious titles that we have held in the past, and especially since we are the highest earning team when it comes to that. I think it would be silly for us to just rest everybody, and especially since it's against arguably the team that could win the league besides us right now. Like this is a great test, because if we do lose it using our best players, okay, fine. Now they know what's coming in the league. Now we'll be ready for them. We'll have more film basically to go back and watch.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. Listen, I said it earlier. We are the most successful club side in FA Cup history. I think we've won it 14 times, and we've won it at times when the club wasn't anywhere near as good as we are now. So it's always been an important competition, always been a competition that we've done fairly well in. And I'm like you, I don't want us to go there and just give this game up. I don't think we've got the squad to do that as well, actually. We can't afford to make too many changes.
No, we can't.
But Curtis, what's your...
listen, I agree that the FA Cup means a lot to us. I don't think we can make wholesale changes because we haven't got the depth to do that. I just think maybe one or two players. I wouldn't mind like maybe Trossard coming in for Martinelli. I think Martinelli's looked a bit tired the last few weeks. Trossard will be desperate to prove himself. But I agree with your point. I think if you go there and beat them, Pep doesn't seem to deal with defeats very well. It might send him into meltdown again, So how strong would you go? Would you go full strength?
Honestly, I would maybe not full strength. I think that Vieira especially, I think that he could definitely play in this game and maybe rest the Odegaard or play Odegaard in the second half even. I do think that maybe Tierney could get a little bit more minutes. He hasn't really been seeing a lot with Zinchenko being on the form that, unworldly form that he is on right now. But I don't think we need to take Saka out. I don't think we need to take Martinelli out. I mean, it's go as strong as we can, but don't.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, I'd like to see us go strong. I mean, yes, we're going to make a few changes, and let's not forget the guys that don't start, they'll probably be on the bench, so they'll probably come on. But I don't want to see too many changes because to me this is still a massive game. I know it's only the fourth round of the FA Cup, but it's still a big tie. And I also think, as I said earlier in the show, that it's not just about the FA Cup this game. If we can go to City, especially going to their place and get a win, that sets us up beautifully for games against them later on in the season. So listen, bro, thank you very much.
Hold on, I got one more.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Beautiful news. So I started watching Arsenal at back in 2015.
Right.
That's when I really started watching them. And at that time, my dad was a huge United fan. Well, he watched the game weekend, and he changed his outlook. He said, you know what? Now that Rooney's gone, now that, they don't have the same players that I grew up on, maybe I do need to be an Arsenal fan. So we won one over, guys.
Oh,
that's controversial.
That's great to hear. Yeah. Listen, bro, thanks so much. And I'm looking at the background there, man. I'm seeing some nice weather and some lovely scenery behind there, man.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, at the moment in England, it's freezing cold and dark and all the rest of it. So enjoy that while you can, bro. But listen, thank you so much.
Thanks for your call, man.
Please call again for future shows. Respect.
Oh, we will. Cheers, guys. Have a good
nice one. Take care. Yeah. Right, got one more caller we can take. We got to round up the show after that. But Ali, man, tell us where you're from. Tell us where you're calling from.
Come on.
Yes, boys. My name's Ali. I'm a Londoner, but I live in Leeds at the moment, actually. Can you guys hear me all right, yeah?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, I just wanted to say, it's such an amazing moment right now, isn't it?
It is.
To be an Arsenal fan. And after so long as well, I was there in Paris against Barcelona. Ever since then, it's all just felt so bleak, but this is just a beautiful, beautiful moment. I want to big up my man Curtis. His watch-alongs. I watch every single watch-along. His goal reactions, the passion that bursts out of that guy is unreal, man. I'm telling you, it's a beautiful sight. But what I wanted to talk about was Arteta, man, because I thought about this. What this guy has done is actually kind of ridiculous. He came, his first managerial job, we were pretty much a shambles, like in a really bad state. He turned everything around. I don't know if you guys listened to Cesc Fabregas after the game yesterday, talking about he went to the training ground recently and he said 95% of it is changed. He said, I can't recognize it. Arteta had put all these positive notes here, there, change the facilities, change this, change that. Even put like an empty cabinet where Premier League would fit in. Not a cabinet room, because we're not Tottenham, we've got other ones. just one cabinet, you know, and to motivate. And when you think about like what he's done and the belief, like that's a, you know, people must have said that like this guy must be crazy. Like your first job, you're going to turn around and do all this, and he's doing it, man. And I think all of us doubted him. All of us at certain points doubted him. You know, some more than others, but all of us doubted him. So I just want to say, man, incredible job that he's doing, and yeah, it's just amazing. It's just amazing.
Bro.
And on City, I think we will spank them. Okay, but like I think we will spank them at the Emirates for sure. I still feel enraged about that Rodri celebration last minute when they like. Oh, I'm still wound up about that. You know what I mean? You know what
as well, right? I'm thinking about that as well. That Rodri celebration. You're right. He was a bit disrespectful. Even before that, I think Kevin De Bruyne has been a bit disingenuous towards Arsenal in the past. So I remember him scoring a goal against Arsenal. He played really well. I think he scored one or two. And then I think he said openly in the interview that it was the easiest Premier League game he'd ever been involved, or something. That was words to that effect.
Emery's team.
So you're right. We do owe him one, bro. But yeah, just on your points on Arteta, you're right about a lot of fans doubting him. I'm not going to be wise after it. I was one of those.
Same.
I had my doubts, but I'm happy to say that so far anyway, he's proven me wrong. And it would appear that he's a bit of a visionary. The stuff you talked about there with him, you know, I mean, rearranging certain things at the club and putting in place his own things. You have to say,
Laurie,
man, that it's
Laurie, what
it's a
did the guy
beautiful thing.
say? The guy said at a certain point it's going to click and go boom. And that's what's weird, because our progress hasn't been like necessarily steady, you know, like 8th, 5th, 3rd. It's just been boom, all of a sudden, like he said it. And with him, you could always see that FA Cup season where we won it. It's all right, there's something there. But then you'd have like the next season, you go 7 games, you like lose, and it was all a bit. But he's got in, like, we've got a great squad. I think we're blessed that we're like relatively injury free at this point in time. Please bring in another midfielder. I think we definitely need that, because Partey, like, you know, I'm not even gonna say nothing because you know what I'm talking about.
I know you don't want to jinx it. Curtis,
but we've got a great chance, man. We've got a great chance.
Thanks for your call, bro. And on that, with the Arteta thing, I just want to ask Curtis.
Nah, listen. You see my content. I was not happy with that guy at all. But one thing I'll give him credit for. I always felt like with Emery, we were just trying to like patch up the problem. Where I feel like Arteta, like, he almost knocked the house down and said, "I got to rebuild this from the ground up." And I think his vision, it was gonna always be a long and painful process, which it kind of was for a couple of years. And I think now we're just reaping the rewards of it. All the youngsters, they kind of become men now. And I really hope they win the league just for them and what Arteta's been through. It's almost like they deserve it. So yeah, man, I think you're right, Ali, man.
It's an excellent point that you both made.
Can I say one last thing?
Yeah, of course,
what's going on with the FA? Like, legitly, how are they finding us twice for doing things every other team does? Like, what's going on there, man? I'm not a conspiracy theorist sort of human being, but what about Richarlison when he's slapping up Aaron Ramsdale? Why ain't you finding him? Like, honestly, I don't understand it.
Yeah,
a lot of men are hating.
Well, I was about to say, I think that's what comes with the territory, innit? When you're top of the league and you're high profile like that.
They're scared.
Yeah. But listen, bro.
Hopefully, man, we're gonna see you. I'll see you guys at the parade, or whatever, man.
Definitely.
Big up yourselves, man. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Take care, Ali, man. Big up.
But it's great to have those guys calling in, man. Callings from Nigeria, America, and Leeds up north.
Man.
Excellent, man. Thanks to our technical team for arranging that as well. Lovely stuff. Right, we're going to round off the show now. I've only got a couple of minutes left, so we're going to have to condense this into a few short minutes. and it relates back to the City game, which we got coming up.
Yeah.
To me, it's a massive game. I know you were saying, Curtis, that it's probably your third priority. But to me, it's still a massive game, a game that I want to win. Yeah. We spoke briefly about, the team and so forth. Who do you think will come in and stay out? And what do you reckon will go on in the manager's mind?
I don't think Arteta will want to change a lot. Because like I said, our squad depth is not strong enough to make 5 or 6 changes. Man City would deal with that team. I do think he'll use it as an opportunity to give a couple of people a game. Maybe Tierney, maybe Trossard, maybe Vieira, maybe 2 or 3. But I just think the opportunity to beat them and get that psychological advantage, Pep, he's already been knocked out of the Carabao Cup. If we can take the FA Cup off him and take the Prem off him as well. Yeah. Because all of a sudden, if you knock Man City out, you're one of the favourites. Probably us and Liverpool would be the favourites then, or Man United to win it. So it presents a great opportunity. And also it's almost like sparring, innit, in a boxing thing. It's you're getting a chance to look at them before those big league games. We'll play them in 3 weeks. So I would go strong. I do think he'll make 1 or 2 changes just to keep people involved. But listen, he worked with Pep. There's no way on earth he wants to go to Man City and get rolled over.
That's right. And that's not the attitude of a big club, which is what we are right now. We should be going there with confidence. It's the 2 best teams in the country. You're competing for a very prestigious cup. One of the biggest domestic cups, if not the biggest domestic cup in world football. So I think we should go there, man, and really give it a go. If we come up short for whatever reason, then fine. But some fans are kind of looking at this game as a bit of a free hit, some people have said. I don't view it like that at all. I think it's a legitimate trophy. You can argue that, as you have done, that it's third priority, whether it's second, third or whatever. It's still a big competition, a competition we've done well in the past, and I want to see us go there and win, because if we do win, as I said before, Curtis, to me, it's not just beating them in the FA Cup. It also sends out a very strong message as to who we are. Yeah. And you can't underestimate something like that psychologically.
No, you're spot on. Do you know what? I was just thinking about it there. Maybe the worst result would be a draw. Because, you don't really want to add an FA Cup replay and then you're playing them 4 times in the same season. Yeah, that's true. You're really stretching the squad. So,
dare I say it as well, this game coming up this week, massive game on a Friday night, the whole world is watching. Yeah. This is an important game for some of the fringe players.
Definitely.
You mentioned Fabio Vieira. He did really well in the last game. And even guys like Sambi, who I know you're not the biggest fan of, but this is another opportunity for him. He's had chances, he's not quite taken them. What better way to kick off your Arsenal career by having a storming game against Man City?
Do you know what? It'd be interesting how Pep views it, because when they played Southampton the other week, he had Haaland, De Bruyne, all of them were on the bench. So it was almost as if he was like, the fringe players will deal. So I wonder how strong he'll go.
Mind you say that, but I've seen Pep have those guys on the bench for league games.
Yeah. He's always trying to play games with people.
And when you've got a squad with the depth that City have, I mean, any team they put out is going to be strong, innit?
It's going to be, yeah.
Which is why, in a way, we're forced to go strong.
Yeah.
Because we haven't got the luxury of resting 4 or 5 man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've got to go for it.
We have to, yeah. And because, like I said, if you rest Saka, for example, that Everton game's not for another week, so then he hasn't played a game for 2 weeks, which isn't always a good thing as a player. You want to keep playing games and stay in touch with your match tempo and stuff. So I think he'll play a strong team. But I do think he'll make 1 or 2 changes.
Okay, then we got super chat here that I need to read out. It's from Richard G. He says, we have to play City 2 times in the league. We cannot risk injury in the FA Cup game. The league is more important. The FA Cup game will be intense. It surely will. Listen, you can look at it like that, about the injuries and so forth. I don't want to see us overcome by caution, man. Listen, I know you can see the way I'm talking. I want us to go fairly strong. I don't want to see us overcome by caution. I think we should go for it. Not to the extent where you're recklessly. But, go for it.
Maybe it's a case of try and get the job done and take people off later in the game.
That's right.
They're a little bit tired, but yeah.
Yeah, but hey, just going through to see if we've got any more super chats. Doesn't appear as if we have. So that only leads me to conclude the show by asking Curtis to give his prediction. And as you all know, people who watch this show regularly, we don't just ask a man to say who's going to win. It's obvious pretty much most of the time what they're going to say. We ask them why. So Curtis, give us your honest opinion on prediction and why.
Honest opinion, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
So you are going for
even though I don't want us to draw the game because I don't want an FA Cup replay, but the reason I'm going for a draw is because without second guessing, I think Arteta will rotate a little bit, and I think that will not have us at quite 100%. I think Pep will make changes as well, but their changes are stronger than ours, you know, in terms of their squad depth. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, okay, interesting. I'm going to go for a shock result. A 2-1 away win. I think that City will rest a lot of players. I reckon that we'll go quite strong, and I reckon we might just edge it. The reason for that is I think that we will field a slightly stronger team than City, and I think that the vibe we got at the moment, the buzz around the place, I think will carry us through. But it was going to be a very hard game.
Yeah. Pep's arguably under more pressure than us. You know, fans are booing, and all right, they beat Wolves at the weekend, but he will be thinking, you know, I need to beat these lot just to bring them back down to earth a bit. So, yeah, man, I'm going for a 1-1 draw. But listen, I hope we can win.
Absolutely.
Arteta might go there full strength. He might think, listen, it's the only game of the week.
Yeah, I think we're going to go strong. I think we'll go strong. And I think there will be players in that team that some fans will think we should rest, that will actually be demanding to play.
Yeah.
Even if it's only that they start.
Saka wouldn't want to be on the bench.
Yeah, I'm sure he ain't going to. You know what these young guys are like, man. They're full of energy. They don't think they can be stopped.
Yeah.
So, listen, man. So, there you have it, guys. Curtis is going for a draw. I've gone for a shock 2-1 win. I wonder what you guys think. Let us know in the comments. Let us know. Keep supporting. Keep watching, keep the shows interactive. Big up all of you who called in today. Big up all of you who are watching. We appreciate it so much. We'll see you next week. Take care. We're out.